My first review is for the final, yes, sadly final, book in the Skulduggery Pleasant series by Derek Landy. It's called Armageddon Out of Here. Typical, wonderful naming from him. What can I say about the series? Other than if I came across Derek Landy's crash car on some sort of remote, god-forsaken road and found him crawling away from it, I would probably go misery on him and make him write more. The series has been fantastic from start to finish. Every little detail has been superb, from the tone, the dark sarcastic humour, to the action, which never really pulled any punches, but always explored the consequences of the violence. It would very much show you something extremely brutal, but at the same time would actually explore the consequences that would have on the characters. In other words, it wasn't just, yes, here's a lot of gory stuff, and then the characters wouldn't actually be shaken by it. There would always be bordering on PTSD in the earlier books, I thought. There was definitely a big effect on the characters from it. Even the author's introductions to every book are worth reading, which is so far from the norm for me. Normally, when it comes to actually reading what the author has written about the book, I tend to only go back and read it if I really, really enjoy the book. Most of the time, I don't want to know what they were thinking when they wrote it. I want to just read it, enjoy it, and crack on. Basically, the only time I've ever actually gone back and read the introduction specifically was for Mallory Blackman or for J.K. Rowling, or the odd book here and there. But Derek Landy's introductions are worth reading in and of themselves. They sound like someone who just really can't be bothered but decides to just take the mick when he actually writes it. They're an absolute joy to experience. This particular book, Armageddon Out Here, which is called Apocalypse Wow in Germany, superb, is a collection of short stories set before and between the various books in the series. These are essentially fan fictions written by the author himself, and they're just gold. These aren't just worth reading for fans, but several of them serve as great jumping off points for new readers. There's a lot of them which take place before the actual series, which can give you sort of a good taste for the characters. There's a lot of them that take place during the series as well, which essentially can act as little clips. You know, it would be the sort of thing of, you know, pick a scene out of a Doctor Who episode and show that to somebody that's never watched it. You know, there are some scenes you could just pick, and the moment they watch it, they'd be hooked. A lot of these books are like that. They're absolutely superb. I was a little worried about how the Skulduggery formula would actually translate from big books to short stories, given how well Landy actually writes the sort of slow burner plots that go across the entirety of the book itself. But the short stories work very well. My favourite is actually the last story in the book, The Button. Yay. It's a story about a man who makes a box with a big red button with absolutely no idea why. It sounds like a completely silly story, which a lot of Landy's stuff is, but he takes what would normally be something so stupendously stupid and makes it brilliant. In 12 pages, he's got you on the edge of your seat. You don't know what's going to happen. And then, as per usual with Landy, just the last paragraph turns the whole thing completely on its head beautifully and makes you realise the whole thing in perspective. Unfortunately, I can't give each book in the series its own score because after 4 books, I just read them all back to back. I tried not to. I couldn't. You know, I would start reading any other book that wasn't Skulduggery Pleasant, and I'd be sitting looking up at my shelf and seeing the next Skulduggery book staring out at me going, read me, read me, read me, but I just had to read it. So with that in mind, I'm going to give the entire series a score, and brilliantly enough, it's the reason why I've chosen to do this for my first review, just to show you where the standard's being set. The Skulduggery Pleasant as a whole series by Derek Landy, I'm giving 10 out of 10. Every book in the series scored either a 9 or a 10, the lowest being a 9, and that shows you how well I actually enjoyed this series. This is by far my favourite book series, knocking Harry Potter and Noughts and Crosses by Mallory Blackman into 2nd and 3rd place respectively. So there's going to be a lot to do to actually catch up and beat that for a series. My next book review is going to be for The Maze Runner by James Dashner. I've seen the movie advertised quite a lot. The sequel's out soon, so I figured I'll give the book a go. It's probably going to be better than the movie. It usually tends to be. But yeah, we'll see if I actually enjoy the book. The next review overall will be for a movie, which I didn't particularly enjoy, so yes, that one will probably feature some unsavoury language, which will not be suitable for children, but there we go. This one, however, is a good review. Yay, I'm happy, as you can tell from my happy face. But yeah, I really enjoyed Skulduggery Pleasant, and I'm kind of sad that it's over. But overall, 10 out of 10, and will be something I'll definitely be reading again in the future. But thanks for taking the time to watch the video, and I'll be with you again soon.